What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Too Pop to Handle. I'm your host, Andrew Nucatola, your pop culture best friend. And as always, I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. Now, I need to start this week's episode sending a special shout out, some love, a message to a very specific group of people. And I am in this group of people because if you are one of the people who have had to return to office, RTO, as we're calling it at my job, corporate America they love an abbreviation. They love an OOO, an EOD. They love to abbreviate shit in corporate America. And the current one floating around the corporate world, at least in my office, is RTO, return to office. I am back in office 5 days a week. And, I'm not going to lie. Last week, I was like spring chicken about it. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. It's 5 days a week. Like, this is just like the wave of the world right now. People are going back. I know a lot, like my boyfriend went back in 4 days a week. And like, it's just like, we are returning back to this like in office majority of the time kind of schedule. And I was fine with it. I was like, it is what it is. My job prior to working at MTV was 5 days a week. I was like, it's fine. I've done this before. This isn't anything new to me. Holy shit. I am so tired. And like, I sit at a desk all day. I am not doing manual labor. I am not doing anything crazy. I'm posting on TikTok about like pop culture shit. It's not like I'm doing brain surgery, but like, I gotta give some love to all of my girls and gays out there, including myself, who are going through RTO this week or this month rather, because like, it's taken a toll on me. And also, like, I do have to give myself credit. We did work on Sunday this week for the Golden Globes, which we'll get into in a little bit. I was covering it for CBS, which is really cool. But, like, I am fucking feeling it this week. So if anybody out there is feeling that, like, second week of January or third week, whatever fucking... I don't even know what date it is. I don't know what week it is. I am, like... I don't know. If you're feeling the slump of RTO and this, like, return to office madness... I feel you. I see you. I am sending you love because I am right there with you. However, we are not going to stop that from giving you guys the moments of the week that were just too pop to handle. I do have a job, quote unquote, to do for the podcast. So of course I'm going to deliver, but I just want you all, if you're listening to this on your commute to work, maybe you're at your desk and you're like, why the fuck am I in office when I could be doing this from home? I feel you. I see you. I am right there with you. So I hope this podcast can get you through your work day, your work week, your return to office, whatever it may be. I'm right there with you, girl. I feel you. In other news, I am feeling a little superiority complex this week because I did find out that my new neighbor, Zohran Mamdani, the mayor of New York City, not only is he now on the Upper East Side, so he's only a hop, skip, and a jump away from me. I'm not going to dox myself and say where I live, but he is in my somewhat of a vicinity. I found out this morning that him and I go to the same bagel place. So like, that's big. Like, living in New York, I'm sure it's, everyone has their own places in like every city, but like in New York, you have your bagel place, your pizza place, you have your Chinese food place. Like there's staples in New York, that you really solidify and like lock down, and you're loyal to that place, like you ride and die for that place. And come to find out, Mr. Mamdani himself, our little cutie patootie mayor, we have the exact same bagel place. And I just feel like that really speaks to my taste level. It really just shows that like, if the mayor of New York is going to this bagel place, and I've been going there for quite some time now, it's been like almost 2 years since I've been going there because I've in our new apartment when we moved, like it's when we discovered it. And like, I just got to say, like, I do kind of have a superiority complex about it. And I'm not going to lie. And like, I don't feel bad about it. Like sometimes I try to be humble. I try to, not ride a high horse, but like being a New Yorker and like knowing that the mayor shares your bagel spot, that is big. If you're from New York, you get it. And like, I did need to brag, and I will be leading with that. Like that is going to be an icebreaker for me going forward, because I just feel like, especially because it's Zohran, if it was like Cuomo or Eric Adams or like some of these other smucks that, run for mayor and try to, take over the city, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to share that with the class. However, the fact that Zohran is going to my bagel place, that feels right. That feels important. And I feel seen, I feel really seen by my mayor. And that is exactly what we need in this city. So of course I had to get up on my soapbox and just let you guys know that, I am better than you bitches. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but I am. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Anywho, I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. I'm sorry that you're not going to run into our cutie patootie mayor at your bagel place. But with all of that being said, I do have a show to do, and we do have a lot to chat about. Golden Globes, Bebe Rexha being in the Khia, whatever you want to call it, asylum. There's a lot going on in pop culture this week, as there always is. So I think without further ado, let's just hop into the show and kick things off the way that we always do with our Drew releases, our new music releases from last week, and our releases coming up this week. And we had a very big release last week with Bruno Mars dropping his first solo single in 10 years. And now I say this with all love and respect to Bruno Mars. This is not me trying to be shady. I'm not trying to be funny, but it is really impressive the way that he can release the same song every few years and people go bananas over it. Like, he can truly continue to do this like 70s funk kind of vibey song that he does every few years, and the way that people go crazy for it, it is so impressive. And once again, I'm not being shady, because I too am listening to this Bruno Mars track and I'm like, I am into it, but it is very reminiscent of songs we have heard from Bruno before, which is to be expected. Like, he knows what he's good at. He knows what he needs to do to like make a hit and to like capture the general public. So like, you can't blame the guy, but it is really funny the way that like people look at other artists and they're like, when are they going to evolve? When are they going to change? When are they going to try something new? And then like Bruno Mars comes in swinging 10 years later and everyone's like, oh my God, this is incredible, as if it isn't the same song that we've heard so many times from him. But again, I am into it. I am liking it. The song's called I Just Might. I don't think I mentioned the title, but I Just Might. It is his first single from his upcoming album, The Romantics, which comes out next month. I'm excited for it. I mean, I'm happy that my frontal lobe has developed, because back in, 2018, when he beat Lorde for the Grammy, I was plucked. I was so annoyed, and I was like, I'm never listening to Bruno Mars again, blah, 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 which obviously was a lie, because like Finesse came out 2019 and I was listening to that like my life depended on it. But like, the stan Twitter mindset is a very toxic mindset to live in, and I'm very happy to no longer be in that mindset. But I am excited for this new Bruno era. It's going to be a crazy year for music. I keep saying it, but like, Bruno's going to release, Harry Styles is going to release, Beyonce's going to release, Olivia Rodrigo's going to release. Like, we have BTS is going to release. Like, we have giant albums coming out this year, and like, I don't think the world is ready. Like, the 2027 Grammys is going to be crazy. Like, we're getting a lot of music this year, and I am very excited. But that was the only release that I had from last week. Very excited for this new Bruno era, and excited to see what he has up his sleeve, because like I said, people eat it up every single time, and he's always going to deliver. As far as songs coming up this week, we have Hilary Duff releasing the second single from her upcoming album, Luck or Something, which is called Roommates. Now, she's been previewing it on TikTok and Instagram for the last week or so, and the lyrics they're interesting, to say the least. I'm not going to judge a song by a snippet just yet, because like, I want to hear the full thing, but like, they're definitely a little provocative, which like, she's in this new mature era. That's fine. We're all for like a sex positive vibe, but it's definitely coming out of left field, if that makes sense. Like, just like the follow-up to Mature being a song about like giving head in the back of a sports bar or whatever she said. I'm like misinterpreting the lyrics, whatever it is. But we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm just excited for a new Hilary Duff era. I am seeing her, is that next week or 2 weeks, whatever it is. Very excited for this new era, but I'm going into this new song with low expectations, and not because I don't think she's going to deliver a good album. I just am like, what are we going to get from this song? So we will talk about that next week. Like I said, that is called Roommates. And then we also have a new single from Slater coming out this Friday called Dance, which I am very excited for. She also announced her new album's coming out on March 27th. That is called Worst Girl in America. And we also get Robin's album, on March 27th. So it's going to be a big day for music on that Friday. I am very excited. I've been loving all of the singles that Slater's put out for this album so far. So I'm sure I'm going to love the rest of whatever she has for us for this album. I tend to like most of the things that Slater puts out, but like this new album rollout and these new singles have been killer. Like, she has not missed once, and I am very excited to see what this whole album has in store. But those are the only releases on my radar for this upcoming week, so we will chat about them next week and, keep the ball rolling as we always do. And now, before we get into our moments from the week that were just too pop to handle, I always like to take this moment to remind you guys that if at any point during this episode you are loving what you were hearing, do not be shy. Go ahead and leave me a 5-star rating wherever you are listening to this podcast. It would really mean the world world to me. It costs $0.00, which you cannot get anything for free these days, but you can go ahead and rate my show 5 stars if you are loving it. And it would really mean the world to me. It's the best way to help support the show. It helps me get into other people's algorithms, help other people discover the show. And it would mean a lot. So, take a second while you're listening, while you're sitting at your desk, RTO, take some of that time, go ahead and leave me a 5-star rating, maybe send the podcast to a friend, subscribe to my Substack, subscribe on YouTube, whatever you want to do to, spread the love this week. It would mean a lot to me. However, I do need to give you guys a show to decide if you are loving what you are hearing. So let's get into our moments in the week that were just too pop to handle, some pop culture rapid fire, kicking it off with Mr. Harry Styles, kind of staying on the topic of new music that's coming out. So we touched on this a little bit during my 2025 pop culture recap episode. I threw it in there at the end of the December realm because it came out while I wasn't recording. He has been teasing something. It's pretty safe to assume, I would say it's 95% positive, a new album. There are some theories that people think it's going to be like a tour documentary from Love on Tour, which I think that would be stupid, to be honest. Harry Styles was on that tour for so long and it was great. It was such a fun time. New York City has never seen more feather boas in their life than when Harry Styles was camping out at MSG for 50 weeks, however long it was. But the time has passed. We are past it. I don't think releasing a documentary about Love on Tour at this point would make sense. I mean, Harry Styles is very fortunate that people, his fans will buy anything he does, he's not somebody who needs to really spin the wheels and, come up with something crazy and brand new because his fans are very dedicated, which is a great thing. But I just don't think it would make sense to drop a Love on Tour documentary. So personally, I'm unsubscribed from that idea and I am fully subscribed to this new album theory, which I think is what most people are leaning towards. So he released that video on YouTube and it was an 8-minute video of that song that he wrote or performed at the final show of Love on Tour. And at the end, it said, "We belong together." And then we kind of went radio silent for a few weeks. It's been 2 or 3 weeks since that happened. And we're all just kind of all right, what was the point of that? If we belong together, where are you? Why are we not together then? Give us something, Harry. And then this week, posters started going up around different cities. I know Paris, Milan, New York, that said, "We belong together." And it's that final screenshot from the video with the fans in the crowd behind it. Some of them said, "Here we go again." Some of them said, "It's all waiting here." Some of them said, "See you very soon." And then some of them said, "Let the light in." So there's definitely some messaging about something is coming, see you soon, it's happening again kind of vibes. And it's saying we belong together. So something is definitely coming from Harry. I would imagine this week there's this account on Instagram that popped up that's webelongtogether.co, which is also the website that launched where you can sign up and get texts from HSHQ, which is his fan club. But there's an Instagram that also launched. It's not verified and Harry doesn't follow it. HSHQ doesn't, HQ. I can't say that right out loud. HSHQ. I don't know why that's so hard for me. However, they don't follow it. So I don't know if it's verified or legit, but they posted today, "See you very soon, 1/15/26, which would be this Friday. Now, this could just be fan theories. We don't know if it is true. We don't know if it is not. However, I do think time is ticking. You need to optimize on this moment, Harry. So if we don't get a single this Friday, I would be very shocked. Or if we don't get something this Friday, I don't know. People are pointing out that when he dropped As It Was, which is the lead single from Harry's House, he teased it on Monday. We got the announcement on Wednesday, and then the song came out Thursday night into Friday. They in the UK they do it Thursday night, so it counts differently. I don't know. There's a whole Adele did it too. It's the way that they roll it out now, whatever. So it is following that kind of pattern. So we will see if you're listening to this on release day on Wednesday, we will see today if he announces anything or what comes of it. But I do think Harry, there's definitely something coming this year. There's also tons of reports coming out that he has reserved some space at the O2 and MSG for later this year, which looking back at Harry's House, he did release the album and tour it the same year, if I remember correctly, because Harry's House came out in May of 2022. Yes, May of 2022, because my boyfriend and I were already dating and we went to the one night only on Long Island. And that was the day that it came out. And that was May. And then we celebrated our 1-year anniversary at the residency at the Garden. And that was that same year because we started dating in 2021. And yeah, our 1-year anniversary was 2022. So that does track. So he released Harry's House in May and then was on tour by August of that year. So typical timeline for him. He likes to, release the album, tour it the same year, and just keep the ball rolling, which can't blame the guy for doing. He's taken long enough of a break. It's time for him to, get things rolling, get back, he's had his fun. He's done his marathons, he's biked around, he's done whatever, he's dated Zoe Kravitz, and, he's doing whatever, but it's time for him to get back on stage and, bring us back to Harry's house. So very tapped in for whatever Harry has up his sleeve, and I am very excited. And I keep seeing all these TikToks that are cracking me up. They're like, Harry Styles has not released music in 4 years, and the people that I'm surrounded by now, whether it's like a new boyfriend or a new coworker, whatever it is, they haven't seen me in a Harry Styles release cycle, and they're about to see a whole different side of me that they've never seen. I do think it's so funny the way he can fully awake a fangirl from his slumber. It really is. It's really the Harry Styles effect. He's got that hold on these girls, and it's very impressive. But that being said, very excited to see what Harry Styles has up his sleeve, and I hope we are getting it sooner rather than later. Moving on to the next moment of the week that we're just too pop to handle. Bebe Rexha is making some news for her Twitter activity this week. And now, how do I say this without sounding like an asshole? I feel very bad because it's clear that she's announced that she's gone independent with her music, which I feel like a lot of artists are doing nowadays. I feel like a lot of people are realizing the way that record labels can take advantage of artists or favor artists. Sometimes you'll see them promote one artist so heavy over another because they know maybe they're going to make the money back and it's a better investment. But it is unfair to the artists who don't get the treatment that they deserve. So she announced that she has now gone independent. And she's been posting on Twitter. Well, first, actually, let me rewind a little bit. A few weeks ago, she was posting on Twitter and she was like, guys, I need you to help me find a man. I need a husband. I need Twitter to do their thing. Find me a man and let's make something happen. Let's shake up these waters and find me a husband. So at first I was like, this is funny. She's trying to have a viral moment and find a man and do her thing. Whatever. It's funny. It's silly. It's stupid. It's harmless. And then this week, she starts posting that she is the last person in the Khia. I know it's technically Khia Asylum because it's based on that rapper, but I always read it as Khia Asylum. So I'm going to say it as Khia Asylum, but before the keyboard warriors come for me and they're like, it's Khia. I know. Bear with me. I don't care. It's a moot point. Anyway, she was posting about how she's the last person in the Khia Asylum, and it was Zara Larsson, Charlie XCX, and all these people. Grim Reaper graphic that everybody posts, and they're going down and freeing people from the doors, and she's the last one in it. And she was basically saying guys, how are we going to get myself out of the Khia Asylum? What are we going to do? And on one hand, I do feel really bad that she is feeling this way about herself, and she is kind of degrading herself by saying this because yeah, maybe Bebe Rexha isn't selling out stadiums and she's been in the game for so long, but she does have hits, and she is one of those people who everybody knows her music, whether they know it or not. Whether they realize it's a Bebe Rexha song. Zara Larsson up until this year, I feel when I saw Zara open for Tate, everybody knew every single word to those songs, but I don't think people realize what songs were Zara's that were hers, it was just kind of an aha moment. They're very much radio hit people, but it doesn't go much further than that, which is a blessing and a curse. I can understand, especially in today's world of fandoms and the internet, you see other people, they have these crazy stands and these big fandoms, and they're creating these communities, and it just isn't something that has hit yet for Bebe Rexha, really. I know she does what I think they're called Rexars, her fans, and not that she doesn't have fans, but I don't think she has hitters the way that Beyonce, Taylor Swift, I mean, those are huge examples, but even thinking I'm trying to think Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, they have hitters for them. I don't know that there are people out there like that for Bebe Rexha, and that's not her fault. That's not anyone's. It's just the way of the world. I don't know, but now she's going on Twitter and saying, guys, can you free me from the Khia Asylum? And as sad as it is and upsetting for her to degrade herself this way, I can't help but think it's almost her trying to make a moment for herself, and clearly it's working because I'm talking about it, not that I'm shaking up culture or anything, but it almost to me feels like she wants a viral moment, she's chasing some type of memeable funny moment. And immediately as I read this, I thought of Zara Larsson's interview that she just did recently, where she was I finally made it out of the Khia Asylum. Zara made a joke about it because she is now quote unquote out of it, and If you don't know what the Khia asylum is, it's basically like this joke on Twitter that people say. It's like, oh, like they're like a nobody, they're not going to make it. They're like a washed up, whatever kind of has-been thing. It's a very stan Twitter toxic mindset, similar to what I was saying earlier about like Bruno Mars, where like it's a very toxic mindset to be in, where you like have such love and respect for somebody that you have to put every other artist who like negatively touches or affects them down. Like it's that same mindset kind of thing. But it made me think of like that idea that where like Zara Larsson was saying like, oh, I'm out of the Khia asylum. And like everyone was like laughing about it. Like it almost made me wonder if like Bebe Rexha is trying to ride on those coattails of that idea and like make it a viral moment herself. Or if she's like actually sitting there being like, no, I'm in this quote unquote jail that everyone puts me in on the internet because like I don't have like the hits or the fans or whatever it is. And it's like, don't talk about yourself like that, you know, like that's so degrading. And like you're still Bebe Rexha, you know, like you got hits, girl. Like you people know who you are. You're not a nobody, you know, and even if you were, like that's also totally fine. It's just like a very interesting conversation happening online and the way that people like, it's really just on Twitter, which like, again, Twitter does not matter. Also, oh my God, you guys, you're not going to believe this. I wrote about this in my newsletter very subtly, but this is not related to Bebe Rexha at all, but it is related to Twitter. Now, if you know me at all, you know that Twitter was my favorite social media platform for years. I joined Twitter in 2009, Valentine's Day 2009. And for every single year, I would joke that Twitter was my Valentine, my one true love, because I truly loved Twitter. And now I need you to stick with me because Twitter, when I signed up and we were texting 40404 and like you could only tweet 140 characters and it was like such a different platform. You would like tweet any single thought that you had. It was truly a lawless land. And like, it was my favorite platform for years. It really was what like inspired me to like want to go into social media and content creation and like all of that. Like it really was like my true love of social media was born on Twitter. I was on, MySpace, I was on Facebook, I was on everything before that, but Twitter is really where like my love for social media blossomed. And truly, since I got an iPhone in 2013, I want to say, in my dock, the 4 apps at the bottom, Twitter has been in my dock since I got an iPhone. It's been messages, music, phone, and Twitter. Always, like, has not changed. And I had a moment the other day where I was scrolling Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I was like, I hate this app. Like, this is a miserable place to be. I do not want to be on this app anymore. And I removed it from my dock and it feels freeing. I feel like the Twitter bird. I am free, released from my cage. And I like, don't, your muscle memory goes to the app, like you think like, oh, like you pick up your phone and like, where your apps are. And now like, because my finger doesn't know where the Twitter app is anymore, I don't go for it as much. And like, I feel myself not going on it. And like, yes, I am scrolling on other social media apps and I'm working on it. However, it feels nice to not be scrolling on Twitter. And like, that to me truly feels like doom scrolling. Like Twitter is a bottomless pit of evil, hatred, just like miserable people at this point. And like, as much fun as like me and my followers have on the app, like in a bigger picture, like Twitter has become a very, what's the word I'm looking for? A very bad place. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to get political, lean into all of that. But I'm just like, I think I'm ready to like flee the platform and like, I don't think I'll ever delete my account because I have so many tweets. Like I have, actually, how many tweets do I have? It's probably honestly really embarrassing. But like I have so many tweets. I've had so many like funny viral moments and like things like that I just don't ever want to lose. But I really do think I'm like over Twitter as okay, no, this is a lot. I have 68.9 thousand tweets. But when you think about it, I joined in 2009. That's almost 20 years ago, which is insane to say out loud. Like 20 years on that app is fucking nuts. But anyway, yeah, I tweet a lot. And that being said, I'm feeling free. I'm feeling, like a new woman without Twitter in my dock. And I know it's a little thing, but it does feel important. But back to what I was saying about Bebe Rexha and like tying it back to Twitter, it's such like a toxic, negative place, you know? And like, I feel like watching Bebe Rexha go on there and like, she even said like, if I had payola, I wouldn't be on here fighting for my life, and saying like, if I had the money to like pay for streams and pay for ads and pay for things, like I wouldn't be on Twitter fighting for my life. But like, she feels like she's at this point where she needs to. And it's like, girl, you are not new in your career. Like, what is going on? And like, it does, you know, you think about like Kesha, and of course I say Taylor Swift, and people are like, well, she's Taylor Swift, she was always fine. But like, what happened to her with her masters was not a great thing, you know, and it opened a lot of conversations up about record labels. And just, there are a lot of things with record labels that I feel like a lot of the artists that we know who signed record deals maybe 10 years ago, like they're kind of stuck in these contracts, and like, it sucks, you know, they get stuck in this like endless cycle where like the label isn't pushing them, their management isn't pushing them, and like they're just like making this music. A lot of them are like funding the music themselves. It's like, it's sad to think about the way the music industry has become all just like numbers and sales, and you know, it's not just about like creating art anymore without you're risking your whole career and your life to do these things. And like, you know, music is something that is just supposed to be like an outlet and, you know, a place to spread your message and a way to just like get the word across. And, you know, I think that gets lost in today's world where like everybody is kind of chasing a TikTok hit or like a #1 song or whatever. And like, you know, it matters until it doesn't or whatever. But like, it's sad to see somebody like Bebe Rexha to be like crashing out on Twitter like this. And like, again, it could fully just be her trying to make a viral moment. And like, I think Bebe Rexha is fine. Like, I think she's not like actually crashing out, but like the way that she's like putting on, maybe it isn't an act, I don't know. But like, to me, I'm like, I think she just wants like a funny viral moment to like pick up with like the Twitter gaze, and then they'll like carry her into, you know, like they did with Charlie and Zara Larsson, you know, carry her into a bigger picture thing. I don't know what she's aiming for, but like, it's sad to see. I don't know. And like, I don't know. I dream of a day where like people just stop caring about numbers and sales and like just get off that fucking app and stop talking about these people like they know them. Cause that's what it is about Twitter to me. Like it was so fun because it was this new way to like connect with our favorite artists and like favorite celebrities. And like, we were live tweeting the housewives back in the day. Like I used to tweet Bethany while we were watching the show, and it was like such a huge deal. She would like your tweet, or you would be tweeting with like the Jonas Brothers or all these people. It was like this new avenue to connect with your favorite artists and promote your music or whatever, promote your movie, promote your show, whatever it is. And it just like opened this can of worms that feels impossible. It like opened a can of worms and like snakes came out, you know, it's like impossible to put it back on because now that it's open and we know what is capable there and like the parasocialness that comes along with the app, it's unfortunately like irreversible damage. And I don't know. It's just, makes you think, you know, it makes you think. But what are you going to do? I don't know. Hopefully one day Bebe Rexha gets out of the Khia asylum and she can have her Zara Larsson or Charlie XCX, whatever moment she is chasing. But for now, I guess she will be sitting on Twitter and tweeting about the payola she doesn't have and being an independent artist. And we will have to wait and see. Maybe it's all like a plot to release a killer banger song this year. And she's like leading up to it and it's a joke and a social experiment. And I don't know. We will have to wait and see. That being said, moving on to our next moment of the week that was just too pop to handle. Britney Spears. What a woman. I am very selective with the news that I share about Britney Spears because there's a lot of it, or it's a lot of nothing sometimes. You know, she posts these crazy things on Instagram, and to me, I'm like, you know what? We freed Britney. She is free. She's doing what she wants. I don't care what she does. That woman has been through the ringer, and I will never look at her Instagram and be like, she's fucking crazy. She's nuts, because even if she is, she's deserved that right. The world drove her to being crazy and being nuts because of the way that they treated her. I don't really care. So I'm very selective with the news that I share about Britney Spears. However, she posted an Instagram photo this week sitting on a piano, and the caption made me raise a brow. So she posted this photo. She was sitting on the piano and she said, "Sending this piano to my son this year. Interestingly enough, I dance on IG to heal things in my body that people have no idea about. Yup, and it's embarrassing sometimes, but I walk through the fire to save my life. I will never perform in the US again because of extremely sensitive reasons, but I hope to be sitting on a stool with a red rose in my hair in a bun performing with my son in the UK and Australia very soon. He's a huge star and I'm so humbled to be in his presence. Godspeed, little man. Now, of course, there's a lot to unpack in this Instagram caption, as there are in most of her Instagram captions, but the thing that's really like making waves and like really sticks out to me is this idea of her saying she'll never perform in the US again, but she will perform in the UK on Australia very soon. And I read this and I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. And like, again, I don't say this in a way, I'm specific with what I picked to talk about with Britney because it is such a sensitive topic, because like, it breaks my heart thinking about like where she is now and like what she once was. But like, I truly don't see a world where Britney Spears is ever on a stage again in any capacity, whether it is sitting on a stool and singing with her son or performing to the level in which she once was. Like, I don't see it. And like, it almost like reading this is one of the first captions I read. And like, maybe you guys think I'm crazy for not seeing it sooner, but like I read this and I'm like, wow, this is sad to like hear a grown woman say something like this, because it's clearly like not, it's like not a level-headed person saying these things. And like, again, we know that Britney has not always been, in the last few years, hasn't been in the right headspace, but like rightfully so. But I read this and it just like breaks my heart a little bit more to be like, wow, like she has this like dream of performing with her son one day. And like, I don't think that'll happen, honestly. Like, I don't think that's something that can happen. And maybe I'm just like not up to date on all my Britney knowledge right now, but like I didn't think her and her son had a great relationship. So like even reading that is like, what are we talking about? She also, the whole comment she says about like, I dance on Instagram to heal things in my body that people have no idea about. It's embarrassing. And I walk through the fire to save my life. That even is so sad to read, like, because she's clearly like sane enough to know that like people make fun of her and like think it's weird the way that she dances on Instagram, but like she has said multiple times, she's like, I just want to dance. And like at her core, sorry if you hear the sirens outside my apartment, New York City living is not for the weak. But she said so many times, she's like, I just want to dance, because like that is who she was. Like when she was in her prime, of course she was a pop star and whatever, but like she was a dancer. Like she was up on that stage, she could move in a way that was so fading. And of course the music and the look and everything about her, she just had that it factor. But like she was such an incredible dancer. And like knowing that like her dancing on Instagram, she's now saying is like, yeah, it might be embarrassing, but like I had to walk through fire to get to this point and heal myself, whatever. It's like, damn, like it just kind of like sticks the knife in a little bit deeper. And you're like, wow, the world really fucking failed this woman. Like her own family turned on her to a point where like, it just must be such a crazy mindset to be in, of like, she was once the biggest pop star in the world. And now like, ooh, this is where we're at. And again, I say all of this truly with love. Like I don't say any of this to drag her. I am the biggest Britney defender. And like, if you listen to this show since episode 1, like my first episode was all about her first book and how much we fucking hate Justin Timberlake. And I was just talking about how much we hate Kevin Federline recently. Like I'm very sensitive when it comes to Britney. And like, I have people in my life who have been like, we shouldn't have freed Britney. Like she didn't need to be free. She's fucking crazy. And like, I will snap at people for that. I'm like, don't speak about this like that. Like this is such a different case, you know, like I'm very, like I said, selective and protective. And here I am talking about parasocial shit. And here I am talking about Britney like this, but you guys get it. You know what I mean? Like it's sad more so than anything to like see this. And I'm like, leave her the fuck alone. Very Chris Crocker of me, which I don't love to bring Chris Crocker up, which, excuse me, I believe that is their dead name now. So I do apologize for that. But I don't mean to bring them up, but it just is like, leave Britney alone, let the woman breathe and like, let her live. And like, I don't know. I read this and I'm like, damn, she's really like, maybe she will get on a stage with her son and perform, but like, I just don't think that's happening. And it's sad, you know, it's very upsetting, but, yeah, I don't know. Just whenever I see Britney news that I feel needs to be shared, I'm like, all right, this is the little tidbit that I will bring on the podcast. And, you know, I hate the G word gossip because I never want to be like a gossip podcast. That's not what I want to do. I want to be very like journalistic and reporting whatever. But, you know, there's a gossip aspect to it. But that's neither here nor there. Moving on to the next and final moment of the week that was just too pop to handle before we get into our Golden Globes 2026 recap. Some other award show news. Trevor Noah is set to host the 2026 Grammys for his 6th and final year. And you guys already know what I'm going to say about this. Why do we need a man? Like, why would a man be there when we have just watched Nikki Glaser, Chelsea Handler, like, do outstanding jobs hosting these award shows this year? Why are we bringing a man into this mix and hosting the Grammys? Now, it is the 6th and final year, but it's like, there's nothing that Trevor Noah has done, and this isn't against Trevor Noah, it's just like there's nothing that Trevor Noah has done in the past 6 years of hosting the Grammys that I can remember being like, oh my God, I want him back next year. And like, maybe that's why they bring him back, because he doesn't take up a lot of the space on stage. And like the Grammys, there's performances and there's these big, big moments, whatever, but like, every award show has not a performance, but like, big elements of it or whatever, like you want to remember. And like the host is a big part of that. I mean, Nikki Glaser hosting the Golden Globes last year and this year were like knockout performances. I can name multiple times that she like made the show her own and like fully stole the spotlight because that's what she was up there doing. And it's like, why are we giving men these jobs anymore? Like why? I don't know. But again, 6th and final year. And I think it's very important to note that it's this final year because this is also the final year that is going to be on CBS. So the Grammys have been on CBS for 54 years and they signed a 10-year deal that now the Grammys will be on ABC, Hulu, and Disney Plus through 2036. So starting in 2027, we'll have a whole new era of the Grammys. So who's to say who Disney and ABC will get to host them? Because I'm guessing maybe Trevor has some ties to CBS. Being a Paramount CBS employee, I should know this, but I don't. But I guess CBS loved him and they kept him around for 6 years. This is the final one. And then we have a new era of the Grammys next year. So it's bittersweet. It's the last 54 years they've been on CBS, which is a crazy amount of time. And, change is good, but it is interesting to think about like what they will do to change it in the new 10-year contract. And like, will this 10-year contract turn into a 54-year contract where they are going on and doing it for years to come? I mean, who's to say, But yeah, so Trevor Noah hosting the Grammys. There's not much else to say about that because, I'm not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. I think it would have been fun to like leave him at 5 and then like end CBS with like a really big host, like get like a big CBS talent in there to do it for the Grammys and like really end it with a bang. But like, again, there's no moments. I cannot think of one time Trevor Noah did anything on the Grammys that I'm like, wow, he was incredible. And like, maybe that's what they want. They want a sleeper hit. They want somebody that like people are familiar with, people feel safe with. And like, he's not going to steal the show. He's going to like come on the stage at the beginning, come on the stage at the end, call it a day and like wrap it up and let like the stars kind of move the show along. But at that point, like why have a host, like just bring out presenters and MCs throughout the night to move the show along. It seems silly to me, but I'm not the person booking the host. I will be the person posting about the Grammys on either MTV or CBS, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, Grammys are on February 1st. It's our next big award show, I believe. So very exciting there. And on the topic of award shows, getting into our main point of this week's episode, the 2026 Golden Globe. So award season is in full swing. As you guys know, we talked about the Critics' Choice Awards last week, and the Golden Globes happened this weekend, which I was so excited for, just solely based on the fact that Nikki Glaser was hosting again. And obviously the host is a very big topic of conversation with the Trevor Noah of it all, but Nikki Glaser really she knocked it out of the park last year with the Golden Globes to the point where it was like, it almost felt like a new way to host an award show. I don't know. She just did such a knockout job. And I loved her this year. I loved her last year. And I was so excited for the Golden Globes this year. And it did not disappoint. Now, I will say I was working the Golden Globes. So I was on the CBS TikTok. But it was really fun to like cover the show from the network. I did when we did the VMAs in September. I was on site for it. And it was like the craziest rush. I was saying it on my recap for the VMAs episode. It's just like wild feeling covering an award show for a network or like, a channel, whatever it is, because like you are literally like from the second the red carpet starts to the hour after the show ends, you are in a black hole. Like 4:30 hit and the carpet was opening and Variety's like pre-show was starting. And like, I don't think I looked up from my computer until 1 a.m. Like I was truly so locked in, and that's how it was for VMAs as well. But this was crazy because I was in my living room. Like I wasn't on site for it like I was for the VMAs where like we're posting about Sabrina Carpenter and I'm listening to Sabrina Carpenter sing it live. I was like sitting in my living room eating pad thai or pad see and like sitting on my table just like posting about this nonstop. And it was so much fun and just so exhilarating. I don't know another word to say it. Like it was just it's such like a rush that you get. And if anybody works in media and has ever done any like coverage like this for an award show, you understand what I'm saying. But it was seriously, I was like, it's like doing drugs in a level that like I've never experienced before. It was exhausting, but also so much fun. So I didn't actually watch the show live. I watched it through TikTok clips because I was posting them to like, I had it on and I was listening and like I watched it, but like, I don't think I looked up on my TV much. Maybe I looked up like 3 or 4 times. Other than that, I was literally getting the show clipped and sent to me and posting it on TikTok. And that's how I consumed the Golden Globes. So definitely a unique way to experience an award show. I have gone back and watched the show, you know, to make sure I could like piece things together, but like it was definitely a unique experience. But honestly, I really loved it. Like it was a lot of fun and like it's very rewarding. I feel like I talk about my job not a lot, but like enough to where I'm like, all right, you're getting annoying about it, but like it is very rewarding being in this role and at this job. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I feel like it's a nice like synergy. Like I knew I was going to come on the podcast this week and talk about Golden Globes. And I was like, wow, like I am literally the Golden Globes on CBS right now. Like I was posting it all night long and it was so much fun. And I'm like, and then in my personal life, I get to go do my podcast this week and I have like my firsthand grasp on the show for the network, which is a really cool, I don't know, cool feeling. But anyway, jumping into our Golden Globes recap, kicking it off with our red carpet, I'm honestly going to go ahead and say, I think everybody looked really good this year. There's nobody that really comes to my mind where I'm like, they looked terrible, I hated this. There's looks that I liked better than others, but usually there's like people I'm like, hated this, hated this, hated this. For the most part, I really liked everybody's look and thought that everybody looked very good. I think J-Lo was one of the best dressed. I think she looked unbelievable, but like when doesn't she? And like I've had my fair share of opinions on J-Lo, as everybody has, especially over the last few years with the whole tour cancellation and just like all the news that she's made over the last few years hasn't been great, but she knows how to show to a red carpet and shut it down. Like moments like these are when I remember that like she is the reason they created Google Images because of that green Versace dress that she wore. Like it's because she showed it to a red carpet looking so incredibly good that like everybody needs to go back and revisit it. And this is one of those moments where I'm like, you look perfect. I thought it fit her so perfectly. Her body looked unbelievable, as it always does. And then the little like the way that it like came out of the bottom with like the tulle, I just thought it was like the perfect touch of like body, glamour, everything you want for the Golden Globes. It was perfection. I loved this look. Might be the best that Jennifer Lawrence has ever looked, honestly. Like she looked incredible in this dress and it showed a lot of skin, which usually people look at and they're like, oh, that's risque. And you know, it's not classy enough, but like this was like a classy way to show skin and she looked fabulous. I loved this look. When I saw her on the red carpet, I literally gasped. I was like, holy fuck, you look beautiful. Emma Stone also loved it. It was very, I hate to say simple, but it was very simple. Just like the yellow top and the yellow skirt, but it was so Emma. And I feel like yellow is her color. Maybe it's just because of La La Land. I think of her in yellow and like that yellow dress, but like she just like, yellow just like brightens her up so well. And she looked fabulous in this outfit. I absolutely loved it. Teyana Taylor, I mean, come on. You want to talk about body? She looked unbelievable. The hair was perfect. The outfit was perfect. I loved it. Another example of like showing some skin in a very classy way. She looked stunning. Big night for Teyana. We'll get into it in a little bit, but I thought she looked unbelievable. And then Olandria. I mean, talk about showing up and shutting it the fuck down. That green color on her was so stunning. It complemented her skin tone so flawlessly. And she's really becoming this like it girl of a red carpet. Like people are looking at red carpets, waiting for her to show up to see what she is wearing. And like, this was 10 out of 10 perfection. And of course, one of the biggest conversations about the red carpet of the night, one of the biggest people talked about the entire night is Ariana Grande and the return of the brunette ponytail. Ariana Grande's ponytail is getting higher and higher by the second. She is defrosting. Pop star Ariana is coming out. She is popping that Glinda bubble, and she is ready for the Eternal Sunshine Tour. And I, for one, cannot wait. You know, it's interesting to see this like transition from Wicked for Good into what we're getting ready for with Eternal Sunshine Tour. And like, you know, of course, pop star Ariana has always been in there, but she really committed to Glinda. Like, she dyed her hair blonde. She fully was like wearing pink all the time. Like, she was committed to the bit, and like, she is no longer the girl in the bubble. Like, she is a dangerous woman. She is ready for this tour, and she looked fantastic. I think she looked gorgeous. I love that she is not tied to the like pink of it all like she was for Wicked the first round. Like, she really went for it with that first press tour, which I loved. But I think it's really nice to be able to look back at both the Wicked and Wicked for Good press tours, and we have two completely different approaches to it, which really just shows like the growth and the change and the way that the movies are so different. You know, they are two different stories that are being told. And I just think she is really handling this transition from Wicked and Glinda into going on tour and whatever is next for her with Meet the Fockers and all that, like, what's coming up. I think we're really in for this new era and evolution of Ariana, and I am so excited to see what is next for her. I thought she looked incredible. And like I said, Nikki Glaser just knocked it out of the park. She had, I think, like 8 outfit changes, and every single one, she just looked more gorgeous as the night went on. It was great. She knocked it out of the park with the looks, with the jokes. I thought the Leonardo DiCaprio joke was hilarious, and like, there was like a little controversy of people being like, how many times are people going to make the joke about Leo only dating people up to 25? And then she perfectly saved it with the idea of like, we have to make the joke about you, Leo, because we know nothing else about you. And it's like, yeah, this man actually doesn't let us know anything else about him, so we have to keep making this joke over and over and over. And like, we're all tired of it, but like, what else is there to say about him? You know, like, it's all we really got. The Michael B. Jordan joke, the Nikki B. Jerkin, whatever she said, with his mom sitting next to him, I was fucking dying. It was hilarious. I thought her whole Fran Drescher moment while she was doing the K-pop Demon Hunters, what was it, K-Pong Demon Hunters, whatever, with Marty Supreme, that whole bit, and then Fran Drescher comes out and like stops it. Hilarious. I mean, I will always applaud seeing Fran Drescher on my screen in any capacity, and like I was saying with Marty Supreme, we needed more of her in that movie. That was like one of my complaints, but like, that's neither here nor there. Just love to see Fran Drescher any moment in the world, and like seeing her up on the stage with Nikki and like interrupting the song, and just very fun, very silly. And I just think Nikki absolutely knocked it out of the park. And then ending it with that tribute to Rob Reiner. It was really subtle. It was really, really quick, but like, it was such a sweet way to pay homage and respect him. She wore the Spinal Tap, I think it was, the Spinal Tap hat, which is from his movie. And then she said this one went to 11, which is a quote from that movie. And such a sad story, the whole Rob Reiner situation with his son, and, you know, the fact that he is now gone as his wife, and like that whole family. It's just such a heartbreaking story. And I think it was a perfect way to pay homage and pay respect to him without reminding all of us that like this tragic thing just happened to this like Hollywood legend. Really, really sweet way to pay homage to him, and like, just to not draw too much attention to it, because I don't know what's going on with that case. I kind of fell off of it, but I'm imagining his son is getting some type of jail time for it, or I don't know, but just a really sweet way to pay homage. And I thought it was a really nice way to end the show. Some other moments from the show that I loved or didn't love. There's a lot of talk online about the songs during the Golden Globes, and like, it was a little zany, a little outrageous. Some of the song choices I was like, what are we doing? And like, the fact that Nikki Glaser walked out to Taylor Swift every single time, I thought was incredible. But some of the song choices were definitely a little questionable, but I don't think they were as distracting as everybody's making it out to be. It almost felt like everybody was like fixating on the songs, and I'm like, maybe it's because I was so tapped into my computer and like working for the night, but I was like, yeah, it was like 3 to 5 seconds of this song, and like, and then we got on with it. Like, yeah, it was a little funny and like a little like, why are we playing this song right now? But like, I thought it was funny. Return of the Mac from Macaulay Culkin, genius. I was cracking up. Some of the song choices, a little questionable, but it was like, I don't know, people were like really fixated on that, and I'm like, can we just, you know, get on with the show and like let bygones be bygones? I don't know. I didn't think it was that serious the way that people are really making it out to be. Of course, I mean, all eyes were on our boys, Connor and Hudson, heated rivalry. I can't believe the way that they turned around them as presenters. Like, they literally had to have booked that last week and like got them in there, got them ready, got them a spot. Like it was like such a quick thing, but like that's what's happening with Heated Rivalry right now. Like it is such a phenomenon, and the speed in which they are hitting stardom is so crazy that like they kind of have to just be like thrown into these things. I thought they did a really great job presenting. I love the little bit with like Hudson coming out and being so confident and Connor being a little shy and, you know, his little cute little self doing his thing, whatever. But it was fun. I loved it. I thought they did a really great job, and I'm just excited to see like how they kind of tackle the rest of award season with like going to these carpets or whatever it may be. But yeah, loved that moment. Of course, Timothée and Kylie, you know, after the Critics' Choice Awards and that win, I was very curious. I knew that Kylie would show up with him, and like I said, I do believe she's going to be at every award show with him this award season, and I do predict that they will make their Met Gala debut together this year. So I knew she would be there. I'm not shocked that she was there, but shouting her out again, on the stage for the speech. Thank you to my parents and my partner. Like they're very serious. And I mean, they have been together for 3 years. So of course, like at this point you are in a serious stage in your relationship, but I don't think people were expecting it for this award season to see Timmy win the way that he is, because I think people definitely didn't think Martin Supreme was going to win the way that it is. So him just like winning at all is a surprise. And even the way that he's like fully embracing Kylie with this is like very out of left field. But I'm very into them. I like them a lot, so I'm into it. The kiss was like going crazy viral. Then they like kissed for the camera, whatever. Like people were going nuts over that. Just, it's really a different side of, I feel like, Kardashian Jenner relationship than we usually see. And it's interesting to watch, and I'm very into it. But I mean, of course, we cannot talk about any award season this year without talking about Timothée and Kylie, because they really are. They're stealing the show, and I would put money on the fact that they're going to make their Met Gala debut together this year. Like it just seems too obvious to me. Like it's going to happen, and like honestly, I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I think it's going to be a huge moment. Some other huge moments from the night. I loved Miley and Pamela Anderson presenting together. Of course, Miley did the song for The Last Showgirl last year, which was Pamela Anderson's big movie. So they had that tie there. And I just thought they had a fun little banter. I thought all the presenters honestly had a fun little like bit on stage when they did it. It was obviously scripted and like, you know, they knew what they were going to say going up there. But like, I thought all of the jokes, sometimes presenters, you know, like the Smartless guys where they made that comment like, oh, and this guy's not really my cup of tea or whatever they said, and like they played into it like that, like with the whole George Clooney at the end with Don, oh my God, what is his last name? It's slipping my mind, but his co-star from Ocean's 11. They had their little bit, like I thought all the presenters had a really good rapport back and forth. You know, I thought like it was silly, it was funny, it wasn't over the top, it wasn't cringy, it was like it just kept us kind of engaged throughout the entire night. And like it didn't feel so crazy when Nikki Glaser came out and like did a comedy bit, because everybody was kind of making us laugh throughout the night. Another huge Miley moment, Miley and Selena posing for a photo together, which I mean like, I mean, come on. Like, yes, of course, the Disney Channel of it all, but just like thinking of Miley and Selena's award show history together and thinking back to the Teen Choice Awards 2008 when Miley performed Seven Things and went into the crowd and Selena sang it with her. Just like, I mean, pop culture history. So seeing the two of them together and like thinking about their come up together. I mean, Selena guest starred on Hannah Montana, and they were both in the whole Disney Channel world together, and they both dated Nick Jonas, and they both, you know, they really had not parallel, you know, of course there were differences in their stardom and whatever, but like they had a parallel upbringing in terms of like being on the Disney Channel at the exact same time. So seeing them together and like posing, so excited to see each other, which is very, very sweet. We also saw Ariana and Selena together. So just a lot of like X-Act, you know, love at the Golden Globes this year, which is really, really sweet. And we love to see it. Queen of Letterboxd, Miss Charlie XCX up there presenting with Joe Keery was a very fun. You did a whole TikTok and I posted on Instagram as well. I feel like people aren't realizing like the amount of movies that Charlie XCX is touching, whether it's starring in, appearing in, making music for this year. Like there's like 6 or 7 movies that she is fully like ready to drop this year or like be a part of this year. And like I'm very excited for this movie era for Charlie XCX. She is a very big film buff, and like knowing that she is like in this like award cycle with, you know, presenting or whatever, like it's just very fun to see. And like the Wuthering Heights soundtrack comes out in about actually a month from today, I believe. It comes out February 13th. Yeah, so very soon. And that's the soundtrack for Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie's movie. So just like a lot of movie projects coming up for Charlie XCX, and I love seeing her at the Golden Globes, because it kind of puts her back in front of us in a sense that isn't brat and, isn't this like hyper pop party girl music kind of scene. And it's like, oh no, she's presenting at the Golden Globes. And like now when the general public sees her in these movies or doing the soundtracks, that's not going to be such a question mark or a shock. So just love to see her there. And I know that was like probably a huge deal for her, because like I said, she is such a film buff. Wanda Sykes, hilarious, which like obviously they're just like synonyms at this point. I think Wanda Sykes is just like one of the funniest people in the world, but her fully trolling Ricky Gervais and thanking God of the trans community on his behalf was fucking hilarious, and I love her. She is truly one of the funniest people on this planet. And then one of my other absolute favorite moments of the night has to be when Julia Roberts stepped up on stage and simply just went up to present and got a standing ovation. Like, that is the correct way to welcome Julia Roberts into any room. I mean, she is truly a legend and just like deserves all of the love and the praise that comes any direction for her. And like seeing her walk on stage to present and everyone just like standing up and giving her a standing ovation, it just felt so correct. And I loved it. It was so funny. And like even watching it happen, I was like, wait, why are we standing up for her? But I was like, you know what? Actually, like, of course we're standing up for Julia Roberts. It's what she deserves. And then the final moment that we'll chat about before we get into our wins was all of the celebrities wearing the no ICE and the no good pins, fully just like standing up against what is happening in our country right now with ICE and what happened with Renee Good. Just, of course, they're not there to make a political statement, but even just wearing a pin and doing something to show their support, I think it is very admirable. And of course, you're not going to applaud a fish for swimming, but like it's the least that they can do. So Mark Ruffalo, who is truly a king, he is always standing up and talking about how the injustices in our country and like really just like making his voice heard. Always love to see Mark Ruffalo on a carpet and love the way that he stands up for what is right. Ariana Grande had a pin on. We also saw Natasha Lyonne, Wanda Sykes, Jean Smart, just incredible people all around. And like, I'm not shocked at this list at all. These are people who I always believe are on the right side of history. And again, we're not going to clap for a fish when it swims, because human beings should be standing up for human being rights. And like, that's not, it's not a crazy concept, but it is nice to see, especially this week with everything happening with ICE and Renee Good and just like everything that we have seen. It's just a very sad week. And I was very pleased to see the turnout of people who were wearing these pins and, making sure their message was heard and trying in any aspect on this carpet. And now, of course, I can go on about pop culture moments from the entire night, but this is an award show. So we do have to talk about the people who won. Now, the Golden Globes, there's a lot of winners because it's TV and film, and there's musical comedy, there's drama, and there's support. There's so many. So I'm not going to go through every single winner because we would be here for longer than we already were. And we still have Drag Race and Traitors recaps. There's a lot to get through for the rest of the podcast. So I'm just going to go through some of the winners that really spoke to me. And there's some losers as well that we'll chat about and just some, things there. But I think my favorite win of the night has Polar winning best podcast. The fact that she started her podcast, I believe it's 10 months ago, it's definitely under a year, and is already winning the first Golden Globe for best podcast is so impressive and so admirable. And like listening to that podcast, I don't listen every single week, but I would say I listen like 85% of the time. Every time I listen, it's just so evident that Amy Poehler was born to be having conversations with people. And she is so well loved and respected in the industry that like anybody who goes on the show is so honored to be there. And she really creates a really welcoming and loving environment for each guest while still being funny and being silly and being the Amy Poehler that we all know and love. And seeing her up there winning against her ex-husband, being up there being the newest podcast, like it was just very fun to see. And I mean, Amy Poehler has had such an incredible run with the Golden Globes. She's hosted it, I think, 4 or 5 times, and like truly some of the best hosts we've ever seen in award show history. So seeing her up there getting this award for the podcast that like has just started was very just like a full circle moment, I feel like, for her. And it's what she deserves. If you have not listened to Good Hang with Amy Poehler, you are missing out. It is truly a great piece of media to be tapped into in today's day and age. Like I said earlier, huge night for Teyana Taylor. We saw her win for her role in One Battle After Another. And you can just tell how truly shocked she was. She got up on the stage and she was like, I didn't write a speech because I didn't think I was going to win. And you could just tell how appreciative she was. And her shout out to brown girls all over the world and like the way that she was like really making sure her voice was heard. And she was just like showing, she's really like a success story to show like anybody can do this, and seeing her up there accepting this award and being so taken back by it and being so appreciative was really really special. And I'm just so happy to see that she took this home. Of course, we saw Timothée Chalamet win, like I said earlier, but like I was saying, I think a lot of people weren't expecting Marty Supreme to win so many awards, or at least Timothy to win so many awards. And I loved the movie. I thought it was great. So very excited to see Timothy winning, and very excited to see him, sharing the love with Miss Kylie Jenner all award season. It's a very, very crazy turn of events, and a very, like, if you would have told me 5 years ago that Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet would be dating and like he'd be thanking her in his Critics' Choice and Golden Globe speeches, I would have been like, what drugs are you fucking on? But like, alas, here we are. We also saw Sinners take home Best Score and also Best Box Office Achievement. And now, don't get me wrong, what Sinners did in the movies this year, I feel like Sinners is one of those movies that brought people into the theaters. And like, I will say it over and over again, like, it was my favorite movie of 2025. It was, seeing it in the theaters was such an incredible experience. And like, I don't know if I doubt it's still playing anywhere in theaters, but like, if they bring it back at all and you have not seen this movie yet, please see it in a theater, because it truly elevates the experience to such a different level. However, I know I was saying last week about these conversations about like Sinners getting robbed or whatever, and I was like, it's not getting robbed. It won 4 Critics' Choice Awards. It tied with the most amount of wins with Frankenstein. I'm curious to see how Sinners pans out the rest of the award show season. I'm shocked that like we didn't see any of the cast win at the Golden Globes, but again, there's so many categories and like there's so many things that are nominated. So I'm curious to see how the rest of the award season pans out for Sinners. I hope their candle isn't burning out. Their awards cut in half in just 1 week from 4 to 2. But like, there's so many things that came out, so many people nominated. Again, I'm not going to stand by this idea of like it being robbed, because it was so critically acclaimed. And like, as far as box office achievements, like it was in theaters, it left theaters, and the demand was so high that it was brought back to theaters, which like that doesn't happen, especially in today's world. Like, it's impossible to get people to go to the movie theaters, and like the way people were going to see Sinners in theaters over and over and over and over again, because it was such a cinematic experience, is truly so impressive. So they deserve this award time and 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 time again. However, I'm watching to see how the rest of award season treats them, because I'm like, are they going to just kind of like fizzle out? Like, is this like the end of their run? Or we could see like last year where like out of nowhere, other movies started winning that weren't winning in the first 2. Like, this is what's fun, about award season, is like, things can go one way 1 week, and then the next award, it's like they're sweeping here. So I'm very curious to see how Sinners pans out in the rest of award season there. We saw Jean Smart win for Hacks again, which is just deserved. This is like her 3rd, 4th. I don't even know how many times she's won the Golden Globe for her role as Deborah Vance in Hacks, but like, it's not enough time. She needs to win 30 times over, because Hacks is just such an incredible show. And if you were not watching it, I believe we're coming up on the final season from what they're reporting, which is so sad. But I understand the characters do have to kind of, fizzle out. And like, it is more admirable to like end something when you know to end it than like to force something out of it, because that's when it gets bad. But just, I love to see Jean Smart winning anything. She is just such a national treasure, and I just absolutely love her. We also saw wins for K-pop Demon Hunters. And like I've been saying, I really feel like we're going to watch them sweep this entire award season. They've already won Best Song at 2 award shows. They won Best Animated Picture at Golden Globes. Like, they're doing their big ones. And I really feel like we're going to see a K-pop Demon Hunter sweep across every single award show. Grammys, I think they're going to take Oscars. Like, they are seriously a force to be reckoned with. And like, I will applaud it. Like, I love to see Korean culture being so widely accepted and loved and awarded. And like, especially in today's day and age, like seeing a non-white cast be awarded is something to celebrate. And I am happy to see it, even though I haven't seen it. It's an animated film and probably will never watch it because it's just not my age demo. But like, you can't deny that song is catchy as hell. So like, I understand why it's winning. And then we saw Best Picture, Musical or Comedy go to One Battle After Another, and Best Picture, Drama go to Hamnet. And they seem to be the two that are really battling for the Best Picture at the Oscars. Like, I feel like it's going to be one of the two. Jessie Buckley also won the Golden Globe, as she did at the Critics' Choice Awards. So Hamnet is really giving One Battle After Another a run for its money. But we are seeing One Battle After Another also hold its own. So we will have to wait and see who takes home the Oscar. I feel like I would put money on it being one of the two, just seeing the way that award season is panning out right now. I haven't seen either movie. I have not done my homework, which I apologize for, but people are loving it. People are saying they're obviously great. The Critics' Choice, the Golden Globes choice, the People's Choice, they're all loving it. So we will have to wait and see for the Oscars to see who takes home the big coveted award. One other thing on the Golden Globes that I was honestly very shocked talked about, not a single win for the White Lotus. They had so many nominations. I believe they were like one of the most nominated TV shows, if not the most nominated TV show. They had 6 nominations and they didn't win any of it. Walton Goggins, Jason Isaac, Carrie Coon, Parker Posey, Amy Lee Wood, and the show for Best Television Series, all nominated, no wins, which is very shocking. I thought this was a really great season, but like I said, there's a lot of great stuff out there right now. A lot's going on, and not everybody can be a winner. That's how it works. We can't all be Katie Heron and, break the crown in half up there, as much as I would love to see it. But I was very shocked to see the White Lotus not winning anything. But, that's the way the Golden Globes crumble. And that is our Golden Globes recap for 2026. Of course, there was a lot more that happened throughout the night, but I would be here all night if I recap the entire 2+ hour show. So that is our Golden Globes recap of 2026. We are just moving right along through this award season. We have Oscar nominations coming out January 22nd, I believe January 22nd. That sounds right. And then we have the Grammys February 1st. So next stop is the Grammys, which is my favorite award show of the year. So I'm very excited for that. But until then, we will chat about award season when it picks back up. And that means it is time for our TV recap, which you guys know I am so over the moon about because, like I said last week, Drag Race recaps are back and it is another day in the workroom and we have the Girl Group Challenge. Now, we don't get the Girl Group Challenge every single season on Drag Race, but when we do, I eat it up. And I like the fact that we don't get it every single season because it makes it more special when we do get it. So we have a Girl Group Challenge this season and Athena is immediately plucked because she did not get picked. And to that, I just say, girl, calm down. Like, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. Like, there are a lot of girls to pick from. And I understand you're coming in very seasoned. You're a very talented queen. I'm not denying that. But like the way that she was acting because she didn't get picked for this challenge, I was like, girl, relax. Like, you are fine. It is okay. Like, you'll get over it. You'll be all right. It kind of turned me off a little bit. I was like, why are we she didn't throw a fit, but like, why are we like sourpuss over not getting picked for this? Like, get over it. You have a group. You're going to get in yourself and like, you're going to get in your head and like self-sabotage yourself. So just like kick it to the side. You have your group, do what you got to do. And like, I think this inner monologue and this like inner saboteur for her and the entire group, they were calling themselves the leftovers, is the reason they didn't do good on the challenge. But we'll get to that in a second. On the topic of Athena, that fight between Athena and Vita over who's going to do the song and who's going to get punk, who's going to get disco, and like going back and forth. Oh my God, I was so tapped in. I was like, give me the popcorn. I am living for this. It was like, this might be a crazy thing to say, but like, it was kind of Emmy worthy. Like, it was a good argument. And then to see Vita be like, I didn't want the song at all. I just wanted to get in her head and fuck with her. And like, it clearly worked. She did what she needed to do. I don't know. Vita's playing a fabulous game this season of Drag Race. And she is one to watch. I'm very tapped into the Vita, I'm buying everything she is selling. I am really liking her so far this season. I felt so bad for Nene fully having no voice during this challenge. If you didn't watch or you don't know, they had to go in and record their own verses. So they have to write their own verses to this song, record it, and then perform it. And Nene loses her voice during the screaming challenge. And I was like, this sucks because like Nene had such a standout week the week before. She literally was the first winner of the season. So for her to like go into the recording studio with Michelle and not have a voice at all, I was like, damn, you're going from like being at the top to like right down. And like, not that I thought she was gonna like not succeed or do well, though they made it work. They figured it out. I'm like, we know they're auto-tuning these girls, most of them at least, for a little bit because, they're not all singers and that is fine. But yeah, that sucked. I felt really bad that like she had to go into this being so in her head because she couldn't sing because she was screaming and giving it her all the week before in the mini challenge and the screaming photo challenge thing. So that sucked. But all of that being said, we get to the main stage for the performances. Disco was meh. It was just so like, like I said, they got in their heads and they like fully it just wasn't great. They just like, they didn't seem like a cohesive group. They didn't give disco, like Ru said. It was very much like they were all just trying to like stand out and do their own thing and it did not work. A girl group is supposed to like function as one unit and this just didn't feel like one unit. I felt like 4 girls up there performing different things and trying to like show off and do their own thing. Didn't love it. Wasn't great. Pop was better. I thought Pop was a step up. Was it the best thing I've ever seen? No, but it was definitely a step up from disco. Mia was definitely the best for sure. And that is reflected in the judges that we see later. She had such energy, such great stage presence. She really, we're only 2 episodes in, so it's hard to say she stepped it up from episode 1, but like she really like made a mark for herself in this episode. And I was really impressed with what she did during the challenge. I also thought Khia, she just has such great energy on stage. Like she was truly born to perform, and she really brought a level of energy that like the group needed to the stage. I thought she was fantastic in this challenge. And then we get to Punk, which was absolutely the best. It's just so funny because Punk was the song that like nobody wanted. Originally, like everybody was like shying away from it, and it ended up being the best of all 3 songs. I thought the girls all looked great together. They all functioned as a group so great together. It was funny. It was cohesive. I loved it. Jane Don't knocked it out of the park. Like she is also one to watch. I think her and Vita right now, I would say Jane, Vita, and Nene are my 3 that I'm really watching right now. Like you guys, I could see you guys going far in this competition. And this week just proved it. I mean, Jane did great last week as well. And I just thought this was a great week for Jane. But the whole Punk group was fantastic. And like I said, very funny that like nobody wanted the song originally and it ended up being the best one of the night. For the runway, our theme is my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack. I have to show off a body part. Kicking it off with Athena, I loved this. This was really well done. I thought the red really looked great on her. She's a very seasoned and very talented queen. Like she knows how to do drag, and this was a fantastic runway for her. Darlene, I fucking loved this look on Darlene Mitchell. It was the definition of white trash, and it was done perfectly. The sunburn, the burgers, the roaches in her hair. This look was so well done. It was drag, it was camp, it was silly, it was so fucking stupid, and I loved it. Darlene Mitchell, you made a fan out of me with this runway look. I thought this was incredible. I absolutely loved it. Mandy Mango, did not love, but I want to love Mandy for her spirit. Like she wants it so bad, but it's just like, she's not, what's the word? It's just, her ideas are there, but the execution isn't right. Like even last week with the flower basket thing, like it wasn't that it was a bad look, but it wasn't executed properly. This week, she's a picture frame on a table showcasing her face, and like, it just was hard to like get that from the look. It was a good concept, but she has a hard time executing it. But she has a really sweet and like strong spirit. And this is a spoiler, but she kills it in the lip sync later in the show. And she did say she's a performer queen, so she's clearly showing us that there. Next up, we had Didi Fuego. This had potential to be really, really great. But once she did the reveal and it was just that leotard, I was like, oh, like, okay, like I loved the like Thule loofah moment. Like that was really cool. But I thought if she like opened it and it maybe like went into a gown, like maybe she's like holding it up and then if she like dropped it and it made a giant tulle gown, or if she revealed it and it was like, I don't know, there was like just something more underneath. I just like, it wasn't, the reveal wasn't revealing enough for me. It was like, oh, you just have a leotard under there. I didn't love it. Also reminded me of her entrance look with that, like the pink thing she was holding. Like it gave the same vibe where she like just had like a giant, like not a boa, but like a big statement piece that she holds over her shoulders. Like it gave that same look. And I was like, we're only in episode 2 and they were kind of like getting the same vibe already. So wasn't great there. Mia Starr, that whole like lace look, I really liked it. It was very like Kim K. Met Gala with the full coverage. Was it like a groundbreaking look? No, but I thought she looked good. It fit her body great. And yeah, I liked it. It was fine. Didn't change my life, but it was cute. I liked it. Can You Please Her? This was a really great. I really liked it. Felt very true to her and her spirit. She's very body positivity and like, you know, she's a bigger girl and like, she's not afraid to show her curves. I love the way that she was like moving her chest and like moving her body with it. I thought this was a really good way to like spread her message that is clearly like a big girl can do this too. And like to just like show off her body and show her curves and like still look absolutely fabulous and flawless, which we love to see on the runway. I really like this. It was a really good week for Khia. Next up was Sierra Mist. I loved this look. This was so good. It was campy, it was silly, it was fun, but it was also really gorgeous. Like it was a really, really well constructed, and beautiful dress, but it was so silly with the eyes on her head, then they matched her actual eye makeup, and then the eyes on her chest. It was very, very fun, very silly, very campy, but still gave like glamorous drag. This was a really, really strong week for her, and I loved it. I also really love the way that she draws her lips. It's clearly her like signature thing. And I think what's good about this is like she can do the lips and still change her eyes and do something different where like I don't think they'll come and clock her. I hope they don't, because I really like the lips. I think they're very like whimsical and silly. I don't think they can clock her to be like, you're doing the same makeup over and over, because she can change other things up if it's just overdrawing her lips. But I really like the lips. I think it's really fun and unique and very whimsical. Next up, we had Nini Coco. I like this a lot. I thought the color on her was gorgeous. I thought it was creative, doing like the bedazzle, the like rhinestone brain. It was like a very unique way to show your favorite body part being your brain and your mind. I really like this. It wasn't as great as last week with that like paper bag constructed whatever thing she did, but still a really good week for Nini. I really, really like this look. And like I said, I do think she is really one to watch. Next up was Mikey Meeks. This was funny. I thought it was campy and silly, and like I understand what she was doing, showing off her legs with like the billboard, but like once she took the billboard off, she was just in a leotard. And I was like, okay, like I know you're showing off your legs, which a leotard does do, but it just seemed a little boring once she took off the billboard thing. And I was like, I just want a little bit more, similar to Didi. It was like, all right, you revealed, and then it was like, oh, that was it. It wasn't bad, but could have been more, you know? You weren't great, but I wanted better. That very much that vibe. Next up, we had Discord Adams with this fucking walk. The way that this diva walks across this runway, it's got to be a bit, right? Like Discord Adams knows that we're all laughing at this, right? Like this is a joke, right? This is a bit, like she's doing it to make us talk, because there's no way she walks across that runway like that and is like, this is my natural walk, because it's not. It looks painful. It looks like she has like cinder blocks tied to her shoulders and she can't walk up straight. It is so bizarre. But that being said, I like this look a lot. She's very good at like adding extra things and texture. She had like the chains and stuff on her, even similar to her entrance look. It was so much, but she knows how to do it in a tasteful way, which is not an easy thing to do. And I really like this look. I think it was very well done. I think she has a really good sense of fashion and taste level. This was a great week for her as well. Next up, Vita Von Teese. I mean, fantastic. She's so good at drag. She really is a star, and I love this. I think it fit her body perfectly. She just like walked the runway so confidently. She's a pageant girl, so of course she knows how to like sell a garment. This was a great week for her, as was last week. I think she's having a great season, like I said before. Next up, we had Briar Brush. The makeup on her is just unbelievable. Like she knows how to paint her face so fabulously. It was really she's stunning, and I like the look. It was silly, it was fun, it was still sexy, it showed up her body, but it was still funny. Like the whole finger thing, that was all you saw, and then like revealing the veil, like just silly, campy, still a little sexy. I like this look a lot. It was a very good week for her on the runway. Jane Don't is next, and this was perfect. This was so good, so stupid, so silly, camp to the max, and done perfectly. I like the way that the tongue was so long, she had to hold it in her hand. It didn't look tacky or like cheap. It looked like it was made very well, because like the lips can be, you know, it could come out a little DIY hodgepodge, you know, if you don't do it the right way. This looked flawless. I really, really love this look for her. Again, Jane Don't is one to watch this season. I'm in. I am sold on the Jane Don't train. I love her. Next up, we had Juicy, who you guys know I love oh so much. I loved this. I love the red on her. I love the way it covered her whole body, except just showing her face. I love the metallic on the inside of the dress. It was very, very good and a great step up versus last week's runway. This was a great week for Juicy. And then we find out that the tops for the week are Jane Don't and Mia Starr, which I totally agree with. I think Jane runway and performance were unbelievable. Mia's performance was so strong. Her runway was great, but it wasn't like my favorite, but the performance was just so good from her. The energy was incredible. So very happy to see that she won. And we come to find out that Jane Don't is the winner of this week, which I could not agree more with. I think between her runway and her performance, it's just very well deserved for this win. And like I said, I'm really sold on Jane Don't. I'm buying what she's selling. I'm very into her this season, and I'm watching her with a very big magnifying glass, because I think she's going to be one to watch this season. We come to find out that the bottoms this week is the entire disco team is up for elimination, but the bottom two end up being Mandy Mango and Didi Fuego. I do agree that the disco team was the worst, and if you're going to rank them by teams, definitely the disco team is the one to get the boot. They weren't a cohesive team. They weren't great. There was a lot of like trying to like overstep each other. It just wasn't what we needed in a girl group challenge. But the bottom two end up being Mandy Mango and Didi Fuego, as I said. And I agree with this. I think between their runways and their performance, they definitely had the least strong of the group. And it hurts me watching Mandy and Didi, because you can tell how much they love to do drag and they love to be there and they want to be there. But it's just like, you didn't do it. So we see the two of them lip sync together to Dove Cameron's Too Much. And I was very concerned about Mandy de-dragging and taking off this table. And it was a little choppy. It was a little messy. Wasn't quite as messy as Lydia with the scissors, but it was definitely like a little busted. She lost her wig, I'm pretty sure. There was like shit flying everywhere. But once the table was off, girl was performing, and it was a killer performance. And she absolutely won the lip sync. Spoiler, Didi Fuego goes home, which we'll get to in a second. Mandy has it in her. Like I said, she has a spirit. She has the spark, and she wants to do this. She wants to win. And I think she really has the love and the spark for drag. But like I said, the execution isn't fully there. So I really hope this season, if anything, she just picks up a few skills and really like fine tunes her drag, because she's like right there. And I want her to be so much better than she is. But like I said, Didi Fuego does go home, which does hurt, because she is our only New York girl, and I was rooting for her, and she is the pork chop, the first one to go home of the season. But I mean, between the runway, the performance, and the lip sync, Mandy definitely won the lip sync. So we are saying goodbye to Didi Fuego. It is our first queen to go home, but somebody's got to be first, and it doesn't, we've seen first out queens still have a thriving drag career, and Didi Fuego is very beloved in New York. I saw she was already at Pieces this week, like doing a show. Like, she will be just fine back home in New York, I am sure. And that is Drag Race week 2. Like I said, I am so thrilled that Drag Race is back, and we'll be recapping every single week. And another show that we will now be recapping every single week is The Traitors. I am so excited for this show to be back. Now, we got 3 episodes this week of season 4, which is a lot. So I am not going to recap every single episode, because honestly, A, I don't remember what happened in each episode. Could I watch them all in one night? And B, that's a lot to fucking recap. So these are just my general thoughts on the season so far. And then every week going forward, I will do recaps of each episode, because I think we're getting 2 this week and then 1 every week after. So it'll be a lot more digestible. But 3 episodes for the premiere was like a lot to digest. So these are just my initial thoughts. First things first, I think the idea of a secret traitor is so much fun. I love that it's like in plain sight. Nobody knows who it is. But I do think Donna Kelsey was the wrong decision from a like logistical standpoint. Like, I think it did isolate her. It did kind of make her the odd one out, but I understand why they did it. She wasn't good at being a traitor, I will say. I think they did just get her on the season just for like the name and to give her the opportunity. I think she is a big fan of the show, and that she wanted to be on it. But like people were pointing out, she wasn't really seen in the challenges because she is older, and like I don't know if she can do all those strenuous things. So it does make sense that like the secret traitor would be her, for them to kind of isolate her and kind of keep her in her own thing. Now, of course, they couldn't predict that she would have gotten voted out on episode 3, but like, I don't want to call producers, pulling strings, but it seemed a little strategic that like she's already voted out. And like, honestly, I'm fine with it. Like I was saying, when she got cast on the show, I was like, I don't understand why Donna Kelsey is on the show to begin with. Like, it just didn't make sense. And then seeing her be a big fan of it, I was like, all right, that's cute. It is what it is. But she wasn't a good traitor. Like, she was very silent to herself. And I understand she was the secret traitor, so she was isolated. She was by herself. But like, being so distant and saying like, oh, I was fangirling over everybody. Like, girl, no, you weren't. I guarantee Donna Kelsey doesn't know who half of these people are. And I'm sorry, but your daughter-in-law is Taylor Swift. You're not fangirling over these Big Brother people. And like, that's no shade to them. but let's just call it what it is. Like, you're not fangirling over these people. You probably don't know who half of them are. And it was just like a bogus excuse for that. But yeah, I think it was very interesting, the fact that they sent her home at the beginning of the episode rather than the end. And that's why I call some producer magic there. It just seemed a little too pointed. I don't know. She's out of the castle. Neither here nor there. Let's keep the show going and let's keep the ball rolling. Our traitors for this season are Candace, Lisa, and Rob, which I think are great picks. But I do think Candace she's playing a dicey game. Like, I think she has the brains and the willpower to be a traitor. And I think she is a great traitor, minus the conga line. Like, why did you think that was the only way to distract people? I'm not familiar with her from Housewives. So like, is a conga line her thing? Am I missing something? Like, does she do a conga line on the Housewives often? Is this like what she's known for? I don't know. But like, if I was in the castle and somebody was like, let's do a conga line through the castle, I'd be like, oh, so you're a traitor. Like, you're clearly distracting me from something. And like, we even saw with Rob, I believe. Yeah, with Rob, he was like, they're doing a murder in plain sight. Like, he was on to them. And like, yes, it makes sense that they murdered him because it was clear that he knew what was going on. But like, it was so obvious that that's like what you were doing. Like, it just seemed a little stupid to me. But like, otherwise, I think she is a very good traitor. And I think she knows how to like play the game and can really like get in there and like play mind games on people. So I'm excited for that. Lisa Rinna, I mean, an icon, a star, a legend. I'm so excited to see her as a traitor and just see the way that she kind of like maneuvers through this castle. Cause I don't think she's an obvious pick for a traitor. I think she like, you know what? I take that back. She's an obvious pick for a traitor, which is why I think people won't think she is one. Cause I think it is too obvious for her to be one, which is why I think she makes a good one. It's like a mind fuck, you know, it's like they really get you in there and they make you think a lot in that traitor's castle. But I'm very excited to see Lisa as a traitor. And then finally we have Rob from Love Island. And I think he's going to truly be like the silent of this season. A lot of the people, I don't think they know him. I don't think they watch Love Island. I don't think they are familiar with like how he just his personality. The only one who I think will kind of catch on to how he is Maura, because of course she is like Love Island royalty and like knows everything about it. And she hosts After Sun. But like, he is acting like Rob did in the villa, in the castle. Like, he's very to himself. He's very kind of doesn't show his emotions or things like that. And like, it takes a lot for him to really react. So I think he is the perfect person to be a traitor. And I'm very excited to see how he plays this. Like, I think he's very smart. I think he's going to do a really good job as a traitor on the season, even thinking to like play chess or checkers, whatever, with Lisa to like play around to figure out who they're going to murder in plain sight. Genius. I think he's going to be a really, really, really strong traitor, and I'm very excited for this. And then just like some of the other faithfuls just going through, like I said, Rob clocking that the murder was in plain sight was gaggy. Like, that was so impressive, and it shows that like he knows this game and he's ready to play. And it was smart that the traitors killed him, but like he came in there not fucking around, and it was very impressive that he was able to clock that so easily. Rod, I think he brought such great evidence to the round table about Portia, because everything he said was factual, and he even had like people to support him, be like, yeah, I heard her say that, I heard her say that. And now I feel bad that he's getting like isolated from the group because people think he might be a traitor because of the way that like they murdered Portia and like got her out of the house or banished her or whatever. No, she didn't get murdered. She got voted out at the round table. And now like we get left on this cliffhanger that like he might get murdered and, you know, eye to eye with the traitors only because nobody wanted to be with him because they think he's a traitor, which I feel so bad for because he genuinely played the game the way you're supposed to. He found evidence on somebody that he thought was a traitor, brought her to the table, and it just wasn't right, which it's going to happen. You know, you have a 50-50 shot. They either are or they aren't a traitor. It could go either way. But I really hope they keep him around for a little bit longer. Like, I hope he isn't the one that they murdered. Like I said, they left us on the cliffhanger this week. But yeah, we will wait and see. I think he's really there playing the game the right way. It just was like the wrong person. But like Portia did say all of those things and she did paint herself as a traitor. So like, I'm not shocked that he thought it was her because like anybody would have. I thought she might have been the secret traitor at first. I was like, maybe she is because she is slipping up. But like, I think she just was like not watching what she was saying and like made a mistake, which is also valid. You're in a high stress environment. Like, it is what it is. I don't know, but I hope they don't hold that against him because I think he's there to play like a very good game. And he is paying attention to everything, which is what you have to do on this show. Dorinda being back in the castle just makes me so happy. She was murdered way too early last season. And the applause that erupted when she walked into breakfast on episode one or two, whenever it was so well deserved. I am so happy that she's sticking around for a little bit longer, and I cannot wait to see her as the season progresses. And then Monet Exchange, you guys know I'm obsessed with her. She's such a huge Survivor fan also, so she's smart. She knows how these games, these things play. She was just on that like influencer celebrity shortened version of Survivor, so like she's not only from Drag Race, like she's had a toe dipped into Survivor. Of course, it was a little abridged. She's smart. She knows what she's doing. I love her so much. I am so thrilled to have her back on my television. And then we have to talk about the elephant in the room, Michael Rapaport, who I am currently beefing with, which not actually, but like kind of we'll get to in a second. His politics and everything aside from him just being like a terrible human being, I have never in my life seen a man who needs therapy more than Michael Rapaport. The way that this grown man is throwing full-on tantrums in this castle when things don't go his way, when they were doing that challenge, when they were finding the oh my God, I'm like totally blanking because I'm in a rage. When they were finding the shields and he was like, I thought we were going to talk about it and da-da-da. No one does it, like fully just like throwing a tantrum. Shut the fuck up. You didn't find the shield, run a little bit faster, work a little bit harder, and then you would get the shield. Like, what the fuck do you want everybody else to say? He's not funny to me. He's not entertaining. He's making good TV because he's so annoying, but it's like at what cost? Like, I need that man out of the castle yesterday. The way that he was eating, the way that he was shoveling that food into his plate. Are you a child? Everything about this man pisses me the fuck off. And then, as if it couldn't get any worse, I made a TikTok simply saying I think Michael needs therapy because he does. And what does he do but download my TikTok along with like 5 or 6 other ones and puts an entire compilation together of people hating on him on his TikTok. He doesn't voice over, he doesn't chime in, he doesn't say anything. He just stitches together 6 videos of people fully saying he's a bad person and posts it on his TikTok. And like, to me, that clearly shows that you need therapy. Exactly what I was saying. Like, you are searching he wasn't tagged in my video. He was searching his name on TikTok, downloading these videos from TikTok, stitched them together to make a new TikTok and posted it. And it's like, yeah, you do need therapy. You're obsessed with yourself and you're obsessed with hearing the negative things people have to say about you. Like, why is that feeding your ego and getting you off? You're a fucking freak. You're weird as hell. He also commented on my TikTok saying, did you say I need speech therapy? Which I don't understand. Maybe because I talk so fast, sometimes I trip over my words. He was making a joke about me. I don't really care. I'm a good person. Michael Rapaport is not, and I need him out of this fucking castle yesterday. Anyway, that's my Traitors recap for now. Like I said, this is kind of just like my thoughts on paper. I'm not going to do full episode recaps until next week. We'll get 2 episodes, so we'll see how it goes. If anything crazy happens and it's like a lot to recap 2 episodes, because it's gonna be long recapping so much, I might do another like thought dump next week, and then once it's 1 episode a week, maybe then I'll do full recaps of the episode like I do for Race. But as of right now, we'll just do my thoughts. Thrilled that Traitors is back. Thrilled that Drag Race is back. Thrilled that, we are just in award season. We have all of this stuff going on in pop culture. There's a lot happening this year. I'm very excited. I feel great about 2026. And I am just excited to take you guys along on the road for it and just see where the year takes us. But with all of that being said, you guys know the drill. We have one final segment here at Too Pop to Handle. We end every single week with a yes and a mess. My yes being something I am loving and my mess being something I am not loving. And we always start things on a high note. And my yes this week is Zara Larsson. If you did not see, she posted on her Instagram story quite a few times this weekend, ranting and raving about what is going on in the world with ICE. And like, again, we're not going to clap for a fish when it swims, because just seeing somebody stand up for what is right shouldn't be something to praise them for. But in a world where so many people are being silenced and people are afraid to use their voices, seeing anybody speak up, I will applaud for, and I will be like, thank you for using your voice and your platform, because right now we need it more than ever. So she posted on her Instagram story and she said, I love immigrants, I love criminals, I love trans people, I love abortions, I love queers, I love slutty women, I love contraception, I love welfare, I love socialism, I fucking hate ICE. And then she goes on to say, but also regarding the ICE agents, what went wrong? Is it toxic masculinity, a fragile ego, fear of people, and low IQ all mixed up like a disgusting cocktail, red pill podcast? past, sprinkled with some absence of love from their parents in childhood. Seriously, what happened in their heads that led those men? Mind you, I have yet to see a female agent down this path. Do you think they feel really cool when they come home after a day of terrorizing communities and families, or only when the silly fucking outfit is on and their faces are fully covered? We need to teach little boys compassion and empathy so they can grow up and view every person like a person. It's just so unsexy that to just do their jobs when the job is to be the most ridiculous evil clown on the planet. I don't understand. What else do you have to say? Period. She said it perfectly. These men who are, and I have seen women ICE agents, I will say, so she hasn't, I have, but these people, these ICE agents who are terrorizing our communities. My coworker told me today that her subway last night in Brooklyn because there was an ICE agent raid on her subway train. She was stuck for 30 minutes until she got off because the ICE agents were raiding the subway. Like, we are living in such a terrible and scary timeline. And like, the fact that these people are fully out here ripping families apart, destroying communities, and just leading with such evil hatred in their heart, it is so mind-boggling to me. And I don't understand how somebody can be so heartless, so evil, so cruel, and just like wake up every morning to go to work and live their life like this. Like, they wake up in the morning and they're like, what family am I going to tear apart today? Who am I going to rip away from their family and ruin their fucking life because it is my job? This is not a job. This is racism disguised as a job. This is fucking disgusting and insane what is happening in this country. And seeing anybody, Ariana Grande, Mark Ruffalo, Natasha Lyonne wear a pin at the Golden Globes, Zara Larsson posting on her story. Again, we should not be applauding a fish for swimming, but I am just thankful that we have anybody speaking up. And whether I am speaking to one person on this podcast who needs to hear it, or it's a celebrity with millions of followers, we all need to use our voices. We all need to stand up, and we all need to fucking fight back because it's scary out there. Like, it's fucking terrifying. And like, it's just, it's really mind blowing what's happening in this country. You would think that was my mess for the week, the way that I just ranted like that. But I'm so passionate about the way that like these people are standing up, and I appreciate it that it is my yes. But yeah, I don't know. Just fuck ICE, fuck Donald Trump, fuck everyone in this country who voted for him. I cannot believe this is the timeline that we are living in. And I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's so wild to me. And like, I hope my podcast and any of my content can be an escape for you guys and can be somewhere where you guys can go and feel safe and feel like an escape from the world and what is happening and everywhere. But like, I can't just sit here on the microphone and like, I don't have thousands of listeners every week, but even the however many I do every week, like, if I can spread this message and like inspire anybody to speak up or to go to a protest or to just use their voice and vote, whatever it is, like, I'm not trying to be Pod Save America. I'm not trying to, be a political podcast. Like, I do want to be a fun escape for people, for pop culture, for music, and talk about the things that it is nonsense. Like, pop culture is not, it's shaping things in the world, but it's not really, it's not getting Donald Trump out of the White House. It's not bringing families back together after ICE agents rip them apart. It's not, stopping a bomb from going off in Palestine or, all of these things. But it's something. And like, I can't sit here and act like the world is fine and we're rainbows and butterflies and like Britney Spears and Bebe Rexha and this and that. Like, we gotta be real and talk about it. So I just want to, make sure my voice is heard as if it isn't already, because I don't shut the fuck up. But yeah, Zara Larsson, thank you for using your voice in such a straight and forward way. That being said, my mess this week, aside from the ICE agents, figured my mess would be a little more lighthearted and not, tied to it, because that was kind of a yes and a mess all in one. My mess this week, like, how do I even de-escalate that and just go into my next thing? But anyway, switching gears to my mess for the week is, like I said, a little more lighthearted. Why are skincare brands allowed to change the ingredients in their products and not like tell us or put it on the bottle or anything? I have very sensitive skin. And not just sensitive where like I eat a bar of chocolate and get a pimple. Like, I can't use any product with fragrance: shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, toothpaste, face wash, chapstick, anything that has a fragrance in it that is like cleaning my body, I cannot use because I am allergic to anything with fragrance. I also have allergies to like a lot of other skincare products. That being said, I'm very selective and I have very few options of what I can use. So I was using this toner from Paula's Choice, which was fabulous. And this isn't a Paula's Choice being a bad brand or anything. I don't want to like drag them because it was a great product, but I could use it for a very long time and it was great. It would really like cure my skin. I would tell everybody like, this is my one skincare product that I cannot live without. When I didn't use it, I was seeing a change in my skin and I was like, wow, my skin looks terrible when I'm not using this product. However, I bought the product a few weeks ago, started using it again, and my skin was looking fine. And then out of nowhere, I started getting an allergic reaction. And now if you're watching on visual, you might see this like a red thing on my neck. Looks like a hickey. It is not. I'm 30 years old. My boyfriend's not leaving hickeys on me. We're past that era in our relationship. It's just like a dry skin patch. If you can see a little bit under my eyes, some dry skin there. Because I scanned my toner on this little app and they must have changed the formula or the ingredients because now I am allergic to it. And I didn't think to check when I bought it because why would I be allergic to something that I wasn't to last year, but now suddenly I am. And now I'm having an allergic reaction to my toner. Of course, I've stopped using it and like I've cracked down. I sway. I'll use like a lotion here and there that I shouldn't use, but like it doesn't flare up right away. But I was using the toner every other day. Like I was using it very often and it's directly on my skin, and toner by itself is just a harsh product, so it's going to just like amplify it. And now I'm stuck with this, which I don't care. It is what it is. Like there's people getting ripped out of their homes by ICE agents. Like there's much bigger problems in the world, but I figured it was just a fun way to like rant about it and not make things political and end the show on a way that isn't ranting about the fucking pigs in our country who are ripping families apart every single fucking day. So check your skincare, get your allergy test, see what ingredients you're allergic to, because it'll really change your life. You know, you never know what you're gonna get on Too Pop to Handle, and that's why you keep coming back. That being said, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Too Pop to Handle. If you guys liked what you heard and you're listening to us as a podcast, go ahead and leave me a 5-star rating. It would seriously mean the world to me. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe, drop a comment, hit like. Got a lot of new people watching on YouTube last week, so hello to all of my newbies. I appreciate you guys being here. If you would like some extra moments of the week that were Too Pop to Handle in between podcast episodes, you can always head over to my Substack. It is toopoptohandle.substack.com. I will have it linked down below as always, but I send out a weekly newsletter called Popping In, where I share extra moments of the week that were just Too Pop to Handle in between podcast episodes. And if all of that is not enough, because you can never get enough Andrew Nucatola in your life if you ask me, you can head over to @TooPopToHandle or @Andrew Nucatola across all platforms and hear me yap, see me post random shit, see me post about my ongoing feud with Michael Rappaport. We have a lot of fun over on my social media channels, and I definitely I don't use them sparingly. I definitely post a lot. So if you want more of me as the week goes on, there are plenty of ways to find me. And with that, I will catch you guys next week. Bye.